Hey there, another post-void post. This one's pretty imperative. Definitely need to get this recorded as fast as I could because it's breaking right now, and it's kind of funny how much is going through the news. Just to give a quick little summary of all the other stuff going on right now. I mean, sure, you probably heard about the Steve Bannon thing going on. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. But, yeah. My own opinions on that. I believe the guy is a chaos magician. But anyways, yeah. So that's a whole different story for another time. Yeah. Also, too, I am a Massachusetts resident, and in Massachusetts, they have mandated flu shots for every child from kindergarten to college, and again, it's a debate. I have family members that are teachers, and that a lot of them, actually, most of my immediate family members are teachers, and they have been concerned about this. They haven't ever vocalized to me that they would will for a flu shot to be mandatory, but they have been concerned, and I would say, given what's been going on in the news, I don't blame them. And, like, the teachers' unions are really fighting right now, so I do know that's again a can of worms there. I have my own opinions on that. I've never taken a flu shot optionally. I mean, I'm not going to diss on someone that decided to because of compromised immune systems, or maybe they work in a nursing home or something, but come on now. I think this is going to turn into, I believe, a national debate if they really are mandating flu shots for students. Anyways, that's not why I'm talking here right now, but it does have to do a little bit with it. It's very interesting that actually what I'm about to say broke the same day that they announced the Massachusetts mandatory flu shots. It's a big opposite take. Yeah. Dupox position. Yeah. And anyways, so I'm talking about today is maybe you heard about it in the news. If you've been hearing about it in the news, you'll notice they don't really talk about it that much when they bring up the story. They'll be like, oh, here was this event, and then here's all the good things they've been doing. Yeah, so Wuhan, sure most of you probably know about the city of Wuhan, where coronavirus was first found, traced to, I guess. Yeah. They just had a massive festival. Look it up on Google right now. Look up Pool Party Festival Wuhan 2020. Yeah, they just had a massive festival. A festival in a water park with like thousands of people all like on top of each other. Literally on top of each other. Like, come on now. All right, so I'm gonna run real deep into this. I mean, sure, you can look at the title of this and see it's called the Piss Party, because I mean, all right. First, I want to say my last video I mentioned the Hudson Project. Literally, my last video I mentioned the Hudson Project, and in passing, I mentioned how Camp Bisco had moved to a ski resort water park after the Hudson Project. So I have been to a festival that has been held at a water park. Now, that festival, they even said back then in 2015, like, oh yeah, we have to close off the pools at some point because they get too dirty. Like, and at that water park festival, only about like 1 out of 10 people were actually in the water, and most of them were not up to their genitals in the freaking water. Yeah, because most people have a common sense when they go to a festival to be like, yeah, I don't feel like mingling in water with all of these other festival goers, A. And B, if you know anything about festivals, you like to stake your spot. So if you're in a pool, people are going to piss in that pool. Like, you're drinking, I don't know, it's communist China, maybe they're not drinking, but like, either way, you're in a pool, you're going to piss in the pool if you're at a festival. Are you kidding me? Like, so It just blasts in the face of social distancing. It is insulting, and you can't tell me that they didn't think that this was not going to get international attention. It's in the freaking outbreak city. It's like they could have done this in Beijing and it wouldn't have had the same visceral effect as it is in Wuhan. So, one thing most other people don't know about Wuhan, Wuhan has 11 million people. 11 million people. Do you know that? That Wuhan has a higher population than any United States city, period? Like, New York City, 8 million. LA, 4 million, and then in LA County is 10 million. So their argument is, oh, yeah, in Wuhan we've tested everyone, or we've tested the majority. When? When exactly did you test them? Did you test every single person that went into that festival before they went in? I don't think so. I highly doubt it. And so you're just under the assumption, oh yeah, since we haven't had any reported cases in Wuhan, we're all clear. We're all clear to have a giant freaking piss party. Yeah, like, I know that this is a part of Chinese culture as well, too. These wave pools, these massive overcrowded wave pools. I'm sure you've seen the pictures. It was a big thing around 2012, how they had, like, this giant, heat wave run through China, and, like, all these pools were getting filled, and, like, people were concerned from everything from, like, feces being in the water to people getting trampled. Like, so, yeah, this is a thing. The wave pools are a thing in China. But you'd think that maybe they would, stop it this year at least, just so they don't look like freaking assholes in the international community. But they don't give a fuck. They don't fucking care. They don't fucking care if they look like assholes in the international community. They're freaking trying to buy up everything. One Belt, One Road. Yeah, look that up. The new Silk Road. They are trying to buy out infrastructure running from Italy all the way to China. Funny where the outbreaks first happened. Iran, which is right in the center of the One Belt, One Road, and Italy, which is at the very end of it. Yeah. So, they don't really give a shit about their public image because they know at the end of the day, they own the media, or at least have the media eating out of the palm of their hands in most countries. Alright, I'm jumping a little ahead here. Alright, so, I'm trying to kind of expose the narrative here, unpack the narrative. So, I'm not necessarily arguing COVID doesn't exist, but I am making this video because it's making me highly skeptical seeing this from China. So, yeah. And also, let us not forget, too, alright, I'm going to get the videos also. So, New Zealand has had no reported cases for 3 months. All of a sudden now, last week they've had a spike. And they say the spike is because of travelers. Alright. Same goes for South Korea. South Korea, they thought they were safe too, but because of travelers, they have to almost maybe lock down again. But China, for some reason, seems fine. Interesting. Very, very interesting. To be able to pull something like this off in Wuhan means that the entire nation needs to be safe. Because they don't, you know what? Maybe this festival is only reserved for citizens of Wuhan, but that again, how can you freaking tell that? I get it, they have smart cities, maybe they're able to tell, but no, this is all way too audacious. Way too audacious for it to be a correct narrative that we're hearing right now. Alright, what about those fake videos that we were seeing coming from Wuhan in February? Because those were fake. Those were not real. Those videos of people collapsing in the streets, just straight up dead in the streets. I remember I saw one where I saw a hospital where doctors were laid out in the ER rooms and stuff. The doctors are on the ground, from Wuhan. Yeah, and that was shared on TV. But then all of a sudden, all those crazy hysteria videos stopped right around when Italy and Iran got hit. You stopped seeing all those crazy videos from Wuhan. So interesting how at the beginning of all of this, we had hysterical videos coming from Wuhan where guys are walking around with freaking canisters blasting college students in their classrooms and stuff, and people dropping dead and doctors laid out. And now you got a freaking festival in a wave pool where everyone is above their genitals, fucking dancing to fucking music, arm in arm with obviously no mask, because you can't wear a mask when you're in a pool. Like, with also South Korea just having outbreaks, they're geographically located to China. Yeah, this is all starting to unravel a little bit. Yeah, let me get back on track here. Also, by the way, it was at Wuhan Maya Beach Water Park. That was the name of the location that it was at, just to put that for the record too. So now this is in going into what I was saying before with China. Now, I am very critical of China. I have been hearing things coming from China for about a decade now. Ever since I've been paying attention to international affairs involving China, I've been hearing some real fucked up shit. And a lot of people, there are some people, and you know what? I'm not gonna lie here. A lot of them are progressives. Because you know why? A lot of them are commie sympathizers. And as an anarchist, I can say that. I know the political spectrum. And I do not trust communists because they kill anarchists. You know, eventually. I've made a couple videos about that already. And they're crafty. Oh, they're crafty. So, yeah. When it blows my mind when you hear about the Muslim Uyghurs, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. The Muslim Uyghurs, a massive diaspora, essentially a diaspora of people now, because they've relocated them, I believe, from Turkmenistan or somewhere around there. China has a certain area of that occupied right now. They're kind of wanted to, you know, inclusivize it in, so they have them in these re-education camps. And I have heard progressives saying like, oh, it's not that bad. I'm like, what the fuck? They are systematically picking out a race of people and putting them in a camp. And then you shit on people when they're like Holocaust deniers and stuff, but you aren't willing to admit a Holocaust happening in China right now? Like, what? I mean, I'm not a Holocaust denier either, but shit, come on now. Like, it's like the same as Armenian Holocaust denier or Armenian genocide deniers. Like, fuck. So, yeah, the Uyghurs. And then there's also the Falun Gong group of people, which I believe they're actually Christians or something. Like, they're spiritual. They're different. They're not Muslims. They're not like Muslim Uyghurs. It's a totally different group of people that they're doing this to. They take them and put them in prisons and literally live organ harvest them and keep them alive. Now, people say, oh, that might be a scare tactic to get us into a war with China. No, we're never going to war with China. It's a Cold War. What are you talking about? Like, that's mutual destruction right there. We're never going to war with China. Any negative thing with China is more of a political discourse than anything else. Come on. So I'm going to run it even a little more. Yeah, they kill their little girls. Yeah, they've killed them systematically for a while now. I'm not too sure how recently that is, but I know for a fact, like 10 years ago, yeah, the overpopulation thing, they used to nix the girls. Yeah, and they still have that thing where you're only supposed to have one kid, and if you don't, then, oh, sorry, you got to do a live baby abortion. Yeah, like, no first trimester shit. Nope, they pop out and then they kill them. Like freaking chickens. Yeah, so, and I'm not lying with that. Like, and then bile bears. Look up bile bears. That's a fun one. Yeah, these bears that they breed in cages to slit open their livers. Yeah, and they live, yeah, bile bears. Dude, like, so, there is some really, like, just unwholesome, callous shit coming from China. And I don't give a fuck if you think that I'm helping Trump by saying that, because I'm not. But I'm also not gonna fucking stifle myself talking about China just because you think that, oh yeah, it's not politically sound to do that. I don't fucking care. There's clearly manipulation going on here. They're flaunting in our face this giant fucking piss party where the rest of the world is reeling from this still. Like, you think that if in Massachusetts, let's say Massachusetts was doing all right for cases for a little bit. Let's say if Massachusetts was clear of cases for 3 months, do you think we would have a fucking wave pool festival going on with thousands of people, no, 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 no. We would be like, that looks bad for our public image. I think they want to piss off some people in the United States and then have other people be like, oh, I don't care about that. And then have us be fighting about this Wuhan piss party where they're just laughing and they can fucking do whatever they want. Because you know what? Nobody holds China responsible. No one holds China responsible. We're just going to give them as many carbon credits as we want as well, too. Yeah. Yeah, and they're buying up property everywhere. I mean, look up the Port of Long Beach. I think that was recently sold by China recently because they were like, oh yeah, this isn't viable for us to own anymore. But yeah, no, they straight up owned all of the land in Port of Long Beach. We gave it to China. Like, they still do that. And all goes back into that one belt, one road, the New Silk Road initiative. And like, you know, that type of mentality they do. And they being the CCCP, I should say the Chinese people, I am not bashing Chinese people at all. I believe that they are held hostage by their government, even more so than the United States. Well, I don't know, actually, 2020, maybe we're held a little more hostage than they are now. It seems a little peculiar, huh? Yeah, so, just to wrap this up, it's a blast in the face. And the fact that that I'm sharing articles about this from like the BBC and ABC and like, hell, actually, I want to look up to see if RT has one about this. I mean, I'm not a big fan of RT, but it's an interesting subject that I think that they might cover a little differently than other people. But yeah, it's almost the same thing. They're like, oh yeah, well, here was this, oh, it's such a stark contrast from the silent streets of Wuhan before, where they were, don't mention this part, soldering people into houses, apparently, soldering them into their freaking apartments, apparently. Well, look at Melbourne right now. Melbourne is a fucking shit show. There's so much fucked up shit I've been seeing from Melbourne. Like, people having police patrol in their public housing and stuff like that, and like, shit that the cops are doing that like are paramount to like what's happening in the United States, like freaking knees on necks of people that aren't wearing masks, like, and then you have Wuhan with no reported cases. Come on, that's just trying to like push some sort of narrative where it's like, oh, the obedient communists, now they get to have fun in their little piss wave pool. They're literally fucking pissing all over each other. Oh, yeah, that pool's full of fucking STDs. But who the fuck cares about that? Ah, no one's coughing anymore. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Really, go Google this right now. Wuhan Pool Party 2020. And maybe pull up some videos from YouTube. And tell me how that matches our current narrative. Doesn't match the narrative at all. Even what they are trying to say, where they think that they were safe or something. By everything that we are told, they are not supposed to think that they are safe. They are not supposed to be able to be doing such elaborate, large, close together gatherings. Because, you know, they're talking about that never happening in the United States until they get a vaccine out or something. They call them bubble festivals. Even if there wasn't any reported cases. We got metal sign masks up now. Doesn't seem like Wuhan has any metal sign masks. Like, sign masks made of metal. Alright, on that note, I want you guys to please pull up some videos of that and watch it yourself. And you know what? You might start to question some of the narrative going on now. I'm not questioning all of it. I still take precaution myself because I live in Massachusetts and I'm not allowed to not take precaution. But, yeah. Be safe, guys. Thank you for listening. And trust your gut. Yeah, you know, trust your gut and use your head. Peace.